a switch to PM. Good evening and welcome to our July 22nd Basalt Town Council meeting. Earlier, we had a work session over at Parcel 2E next to Takaw. Now we're starting the regular portion of our meeting, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And Pam, will you please call the roll?
I will. Is Angela with us? I think she is, yeah. Let us start with Angela Anderson.
Here.
Thank you, Angela. Rick Stevens.
Here.
Hannah Berman is absent this evening. Angèle Dupré-Bouchard.
Here.
Brian Slack.
Here.
David Knight.
Here.
And Dieter Schindler.
Here.
All right.
Thanks,
Majority
Pam.
of the A-team is present.
And I also wanted to add, if you want to join the meeting via Zoom, you are welcome to do so. You just need to go to basalt.net, go to the current agenda on the agenda tab, and find the July 22nd meeting, click the link, and you can join that way if you want to make comments and interact in that way. So I'll move on to the consent agenda. We have item 2A from the minutes from July 8th, 2025. Item 2B, resolution number 30, series of 2025, resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, approving a change order to the contract for design of the Safe Routes to School and Confluence Park intersection project. And item 2C, resolution number 34, series of 2025, resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, approving a revocable license agreement with the Art Base. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Mayor, I move the town council approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Next up, we have item 3, which is the call to the public. Please limit comments to 3 minutes, and you can make your comments directly to me. Identify yourself by name and address, and go ahead and put your address and name in the back of the room. There's also a notebook there for that. Please be courteous, civil, and constructive, and we'll take no action except to perhaps direct the interim town manager. And with that, I will open up the call to the public. Jim, yeah, come on up.
Good evening. I asked to be able to make a couple of comments and make one appeal related to the purchase of 2 mobile home parks. So for starters, thanks to the town of Basalt for you all taking action and taking action early to contribute to what we think will be one of the most unusual and cooperative and important civic things that I can have been involved with. As you know, the 2 mobile home parks are offered for sale. There appears to be another contract. A group called Thistle Rock is negotiating on behalf of the tenants. The purchase price is $42 million, and with some capital improvements and other reserves, it's around $46 million. And about 26 of that can be financed through a normal first mortgage through some financing through favorable financing rates through Rock Capital, which is operates nationally, I understand. But it leaves $20 million to be raised, and remarkably, Basalt and the other communities of municipalities have come with commitments for $11.1 million. It's pretty amazing. The other part of the financing plan was to get to $15 million. So Atlantic Aviation, that I've been working with on their civic engagement, as they call it, committed a lead gift of $1 million. The Aspen one, if you forgive me, I still want to say Aspen Ski Company, $500,000. That gets us to 12.6, and our goal has been to get to 15 million. We may need to increase that goal a bit, as I'll explain in just a second. There's been a very targeted, quiet fundraising effort going on. I think we're at about $1.5 million of the desired $2.5 million, roughly. You would recognize the names of the donors. They've been typically doing things mostly in the Up Valley, but making cultural and other things happen. And it's very important that they're familiar with the Valley and making commitments quickly. We think we'll raise another $1 million here fairly soon. The game plan had included $5 million from the state through Department of Local Affairs. April Long has reported that they're working hard with them, but we're, quote, out of cycle, so we have to go back and apply in October. So there's a lot of effort to get some indication of interest, which would help raise the rest of the money in some form of a loan. But so all that's progressing, but along the way, I connected with Rick and then later with David to talk about the importance, in my opinion, of a broad grassroots efforts. So I'm reporting to this, but I'm hoping you all will have ideas and ways that we might be able to do that. And the idea, if you had 1,000 people put in $100, that would be $100,000, but it would be not nearly as important as money as it would be maybe getting the state to put in $3 or $4 or $5 million. So there's huge leverage of a grassroots effort. And so what format we'll take, I don't know. Rick and I met with the head of the board of the chamber. That's not exactly what they do. We've talked about pulling out the old Basalt area gifts, which was something Rick initiated with some other people and I participated in. And I'll just give you one anecdote. That was when Basalt was giving back $1.9 million of taxes it believed was owed. So Rick said, look, if everybody's getting $300, $400, $500, $700, whatever they're getting, could we get them to give it to any charity, just not to recycle? And the typical answer you would get, the reaction was understandable. Well, my daughter needs braces, or I need a new bike or something. But we went to got a nice article in the Aspen Times, and one of my friends that I've never thought to have called on calls me up and he says, Jim, that's the greatest thing I ever heard about. How are you doing with the Roaring Fork Club? I said, well, you know, I can only call the people that are my friends. And he said, let me make it easier. I'll put up a $100,000 match. So out of the blue, and then we were able to raise $99,000 to match. 2/3 roughly went to the Conservancy and 1/3 to the pre-collegiate program that operates in Roaring Fork School District. The point is, if we get a good grassroots program going, I'm hoping it will attract some publicity and people will hear about that and they'll say, I had no idea. So that's my request to you to be supportive of that, not so much as the council, but as individually to help us with that. And the last thing I'll just say is that I think you know the merits of the 42 million is a breathtakingly high number, but so is it when you start building up Valley for $1 million a unit or more. So it averages to about 300,000 per site. It would be operated with by 2 separate nonprofits that each one would have. There would be deed covenants that would require the same sort of kind of thing that you all put on normally in projects where you deed restrict the eligibility to certain income requirements. So it would be protected. But as I just reflect on it, there are two things. One is think about what would happen if they go away. There are indirect impacts. For example, 500 people, 150 students, the state gives money to the schools based on a per capita. So it would definitely affect our schools. So there's some negative impacts. There'd be more traffic and so on. But on the positive side, to me, this is the most unbelievable opportunity to work together. And I've been part in Snowmass in our early Roaring Fork Club days, seen when the governments worked with the private sector, and I've been part of where high net worth donors contribute to certain things that are important. And magic happens when we cooperate. So that's my soapbox. I won't give you the whole story, but when we work together, it's unbelievable what we can achieve. And by the way, if we can pull this off, I think it'll just be the start of some other things. The Atlantic will be a lead contributor, we hope, with a Basalt project, for example. So other things good will happen if we can pull this one off.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
It's a good message. I think the more participation we have in this, the better it's going to go. And it just seeds what's going to happen in the future, for sure.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Happy birthday again.
All right, anyone else?
Aaron Ward has his hand up. Hi, Aaron. If you would like to make comments, please unmute.
All right, I'm here. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hey, I'm here to, I know you guys just did your site visit to parcel 2E. So I'm here to kind of give some thoughts on that conceptual plan and the proposal and kind of what's being presented here. I want to get some, I know everyone's not as familiar with this and hasn't followed the
David, before we
parcel
get into the
2E
comments,
several years like I have.
coming to council,
My address
we
is
have an
358
application that's
Silver
been
Circle,
submitted,
so I live right
Yeah.
behind it. This parcel has an underlying zoning of P, which is essentially the exact same zoning as all of our parks and public places in our town. When I was going to purchase the property and when I went to build, on both occasions, I reached out to the planning department to see, what is this parcel developable and what could possibly go there. And in both instances, it was Susan and James back then, Michelle wasn't there yet. They said it is developable, but it'll be low density, maximum of 2 stories, and it'll hug Lewis Lane. And neighbors got similar feedback as well from them. The history of that parcel is that it was, its proposed uses have been a 1,200 square foot transit center, a roughly 10,000 square foot daycare center, an outdoor venue for the Taka, and I believe there was some talk of a possible single-story police station. The town of Basalt presented a plan in 2018, or a study, that said that the lot could accommodate up to 15,000 square feet. Well, the proposed development back there now is 65,000 square feet. And so kind of a horse of a different color. Further, speaking with Rich, the architect on this, it was essentially a density study to where it was based on parking is how they got figured the density and how much they could put on there. This parcel was never meant for high density development. It abuts single family residences. If you read the PUD, this has very specific examples of what can be built there, and it has a very specific control on affordable housing, basically stating, not in a roundabout way, but explicitly stating that the affordable housing, it can house up to 100% of the number of employees at the primary use. So in this situation, the community center. So unless they're planning on employing 100 people in the community center, the density of what they're proposing back there is completely out to lunch with what's in the current PUD. I know that Michelle mentioned that this lot was always meant to be changed. The PUD, I've never seen that before, to where somebody makes a PUD that's meant to be changed and separated from that PUD, and if there is, there's usually a very intricate process. I had to go through it and get 2/3 approval within my PUD when I did a development separate from what we're talking about here. Another thing that's interesting about this parcel that throws some more ambiguity into this regarding density and everything else is, they're comparing this to Willits Town Center and what's there. This isn't a portion of the Willits Town Center PUD. This is a portion of the Sopris Meadows PUD, which is where these single-family residences are, south of Lewis Lane. So there's a lot of confusion here, and there's a reason why, as support for my argument here, there's never been any density proposed back there. And it's because there's control things in place in the PUD. What this plan also violates is story height. There's a maximum story height of 3 stories within the Willits Town Center, within the and the maximum building height of 45 feet. This exceeds both of those. With the site sloping downward, our vantage point from Sopris Meadows, as it's proposed with the elevator shaft, we're looking at 64 feet not only the tallest building in Willits, it's the tallest building in Basalt and nearly the tallest building in the Roaring Fork Valley. And it abuts single-family residences. Completely, if you ask me, out to lunch. To go on that, usually there's a concept of stepping down density. Well, the center, the density, the highest buildings in Willits are stepping down, including Taka and the Willits 7. And then, so it's abutted by a 25-foot building, Taka, and 30-foot residences. And they're going up, from our vantage point, 64 feet, twice those. It's a little concerning considering that there's never ever been proposed density back there, and then all of a sudden, 6 weeks, we have this plan that is, seems to be wanting to be pushed through kind of quickly, whereas Clark's Market and many other big developments took many years and many iterations, and yada yada yada. My last point is, if you look at the conception, or excuse me, the master plan of the town, this wasn't identified as one of the 7 parcels of density, which if it were ever meant to be a density parcel, I would think that would be the time to identify it as that. In that document, it is purely stated to be a daycare center. And then it could have some affordable housing, but I think the 6, 7, 8 units that were being proposed probably conforms to the employee regulation that is stipulated in the PUD. So I know I'm going along here. So long story short, I think there's some legal issues with this, and so that's my 2 cents on this. And there's a lot of pushback from the neighborhood, and there hasn't been a ton of outreach to the specific part of the Silver Circle that is being most impacted. So that's my 2 cents on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Anyone else? All right, let's move along to mayor and council comments and reports. Item number 4.
I'm just once again going to thank Justin and his team. They're always out there keeping the town clean, good. It's awesome. Public Works is always working hard. Police is always working hard. I know they're all a little short-staffed right now, but I really appreciate seeing you guys in the neighborhoods and at the concerts, and it's awesome. We're so lucky to have such amazing staff in this town, so appreciate it.
And to add to that, thanks to the first responders who all made it up there to that lightning strike. Was that last week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
last Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
That was fast. That was a loud boom. I heard the boom, didn't see the rain, and then that was good. It was very good. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to item 5, interim manager's report.
So, a few things to mention. One is that we have a potential mountain lion here still in town, sighted over the weekend. Last sighting was Sunday. There's 2 missing house cats that haven't been identified or haven't been located yet.
Funny, Rick?
I'd say that the CPW was contacted, and they were supposed to be here today, see if they could find the juvenile. It was a younger mountain lion. Angel had a colleague or friend capture a picture of the animal. Beautiful animal, actually. And nonetheless, the alerts have gone out, and I think we're making precautionary measures. So I think we just be on guard, be alert. When we know more, we'll share more, and we'll get CPW out here, and we'll see whether or not it's some theory that the animal still here might be sick, and in which case will be another way of dealing with it. But best case scenario is that the mountain lion just moved on, and we haven't had any sightings in last day or so. So anyway, just so I mentioned it to you. Also, I have in your packet today is this got from CAS, the Colorado Association of Ski Towns, passed along a U.S. Department of HUD. They did analysis of actually our mountain region includes Summit, Eagle, and Pitkin County. That is in your packet. regarding housing. So that was a pretty interesting report for you guys to take a look at as we study our affordable housing and just various ways of we're trying to solve for some of the challenges we have here in town. That was that. And then from staffing issues in Pitkin, I had our sales tax reports are below, are remiss. Just did receive a report last night, so I was able to complete the May reporting, and I can report that through May. It's not in your packet, it'll be in your packet next council meeting, but I can report that through May, our sales tax is just dead even. I mean, it's basically less than a percentage difference year over year. And we had budgeted an increase, so we are still tracking a miss for the year. And then lastly, I'll just have Michelle comment. She had a meeting over at Eagle today regarding our topic tonight, 2E. So Michelle?
Yep, thanks. Today I was at the Eagle County Housing Authority, Eagle County Housing Development Authority quarterly meeting. And what they do at this quarterly meeting is they review applications for funding to partner with the Eagle County Development Authority. They have bonding and loans and construction loans, those sorts of things. In particular, there were some updates about their contribution, $2.5 million to the mobile home park purchase and efforts. And it was suggested that we get the concepts of the housing that we're looking at in Willits over there as well. Even though we're far out, but just to kind of have those there. They have 3 other developments in the Eagle Valley that they're also considering that are on potentially similar schedules. So just to know that there's stated interest from that board in really participating more in this valley. It came up multiple times, and I thought that was really exciting. So nothing concrete, but just to know that that partnership is possible.
Thanks.
That's it.
All right. So moving along to council actions, we have 6A, which is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 9, series of 2025. An ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Basalt, Colorado, amending the 2025 budget, providing for a supplemental appropriation related to revenues and expenditures. Doug?
Right. So this was talked about last meeting. We're amending the budget to appropriate another $500,000 for the purchase of the mobile home parks. It'll be out of the general fund, and we're going to charge this off to council discretionary, and the contribution that we be making be subject to the satisfaction of the conditions of the letter intent that Thistle ROC that Mr. Light had referred to is working on. And I know that Jeff is involved with the actual deed restrictions and all of the various things that would be involved with securing that property, so we don't find ourselves in the same position, years from now. So that's the only thing in the amendment is the additional $500,000. The original budget was approved for excess expenditures over a revenue of $390,000. So we were in the red by $390,000, and that this would be adding $500,000 to the cost, so we would be having expenditures in excess of revenue of $890,146. That's what the amendment would be for. So,
All right. Well, this is a public hearing, so I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Here, whatever, 6:29. And if anybody would like to speak, I don't see anybody online. I don't see anybody rushing up to the microphone. I will go ahead and close the public hearing. I don't think we have anybody who wants to make comments. You guys have questions or comments?
I have a question. Earlier today and in the past, we have the $6 million fund that was approved by the voters, and I guess there's a limitation on that it needs to be used within the town of Basalt boundaries. And Pitkin County ran into that same issue, I think, with their $8 million, whatever it was. But we managed to be able to figure out how to put an amount of that down in Glenwood by purchasing some units in the converted hotel or lodge, whatever Habitat was doing. And, of course, they face the same situation with their workforce as everybody else does. And I'd just like to know how they managed to maneuver around that restriction, because we've asked them before and they've said, well, we don't have any funding available, you know, or we don't have a specific housing fund, we don't, and then, you know, they do now. I know they're looking at the Phillips Mobile Home Park and a couple other locations, but they did figure out, Jeff, how to donate or buy or purchase, or however they made that arrangement to get those units down in Glenwood.
Yeah, not having looked at their ballot language for that, it could just be more expansive than what was attached to our voter-approved bonds.
And is that a question for the voters then? Change
I'd have to
that
look
ballot
at
language?
it, the language again, but if that restriction was in the ballot language, then to change it would require voter approval.
Okay. Well, thanks. Just
Yeah.
curious.
Sure.
I also don't think they actually bought units in Glenwood. They bought, you're paying into it to buy, to have your people have the right to buy.
Yeah, this is on the Habitat project. Yeah, it was really you're securing your place in line with it. You're buying an option to buy and
Well, you're
to allow
still
employees to
spending
buy.
money outside the county's.
Correct. But it wasn't an actual purchase, so it might get around.
And again, I don't know what not having reviewed the ballot language, I can't say for sure, but could look at that for you guys.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that the town council adopt ordinance number 9, series of 2025 on second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pam, will you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Let's begin with Rick Stevens,
Yes.
Angel Dupré-Bouchard,
Yes.
Ryan Slack,
Yes.
David Knight,
Yes.
Dieter Schindler,
Yes.
and Angela Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you, Angela. Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone. Item 6B is up next. Resolution number 31, series of 2025. A resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, approving a water use agreement with the Colorado Water Conservation Board to donate excess water for in-stream flow uses in the Frying Pan River. And Jeff, you're up for this one.
Yeah, thanks. This is a follow-up from our last council meeting. We had Heather and Ramsey present and Ryan Jarvis present this concept about working with the CWCB to lease contract water that the town owns in Root Eye Reservoir to the CWCB to allow for wintertime in-stream flow releases. And that council kind of coalesced around that idea, and I think it has some traction. This is storage water that we're not actively using. It's available for use, but we're not actively using. If it were to be needed, the water use agreement with the CWCB does allow us to pull it back. Basically, we tell them each year, here's what's available. And so this is a resolution to approve that agreement, to allow this to move forward, and then authorize staff to continue to make that all happen. So happy to answer any questions.
Great, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Questions or comments? I'd just say I'm pleased to see this, and I hope other municipalities who have storage water up there are able to look at their own dependencies, what they can use it for, and we can find ways to all contribute. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm glad we're getting out front on this.
Mayor, I move the town council adopt resolution number 31, series of 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pam, will you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Let's begin with Angel Dupré-Bouchard,
Yes.
Ryan Slack,
Yes.
David Knight,
Yes.
Dieter Schindler,
Yes.
Angela Anderson,
Yes.
and Rick Stevens.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Next up is 6C, which is resolution number 32, series of 2025. A resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, adopting the Colorado Department of Early Childhood Safety, Safer Youth Sports Model Code of Conduct. Wow, that's quite the string. Harper.
Yeah, hi, Mayor and Council. So this was from a bill that was passed last year requiring any local government with that sponsors youth sports activities to pass a prohibited conduct policy for parents, coaches, spectators, and athletes. And the Colorado Department of Early Childhood developed a model policy that local governments can adopt. And so they just published it a few weeks ago. And so we're proposing to adopt it, and then we would tailor the policy for each specific sports activity.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
the
Yeah, go
bill
ahead.
was just to try to make youth sports safer was the goal. So,
Sometimes see some behavior out there for sports that are,
Well,
it's good to do
yeah,
this.
I mean, every USA lacrosse, hockey, football, whatever, requires most requirements aren't met, but safe sport, things like that have been going on for a while are critical. And I think that anyone that utilizes the facilities of Basalt to recreate or put together a rec program, or even in a camp situation in the summer, should at least be required to, get into this stuff. It doesn't necessarily have, there's a long list of entities that provide, all kinds of things. And we do have a need for coaches to be better trained. Susan Crown of the Crown family has an initiative in Project Play where she'd like to certify 1 million coaches across the country. And I've been doing that for a long time, and it's really adds value to the programs. It increases the communication between the parents and the kids and the coaches and the participants, spectators, whoever they are. We had some things going on at Crown that weren't very, acceptable in terms of with somebody walking around with their thermos full of, during the course of play. And I think that those things, it is what is undermining the ability to get officials to referee these events, and it's been across the country. So 100%, I think there should be a little check the box on our programming that whoever's going to run those is engaged in safe sport, can recognize when a child's suffering from abuse, either at home or in school or anywhere. Bullying is becoming an issue in one of our programs. So, 100%, but we have to strengthen it even more than just passing this resolution.
yeah, and the coaches are required to go through a mandatory reporting training. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I mean, you almost like you could, philosophically look at, okay, we're teaching fundamentals. We're not teaching, we want kids to win, but you want to teach them something beyond that transcends winning the game, like how to do things well, how to work together, and all of that. It's almost like looking through the framework. It kind of codifies that to an extent. It's cool. It's cool we're going to be doing that.
Yeah. Just as a plug, Jeff Buckheiser, who's one of the CEOs of Aspen One's entity, is putting on a programming up at the Highlands in a couple weeks for parents and coaches to talk about how you build resilience in young athletes in this environment of comfort. So it's interesting that a lot of our younger athletes aren't that challenged over the course of time, and when they are challenged in a situation that's competitive, they can't manage it. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, I think. And we have in 2 programs close to 600 kids. So that's 2 programs.
Yeah,
So just
that's great.
stay on it all the time.
Good stuff. Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, I move the town council adopt resolution number 32, series of 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pam, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Let's begin with Ryan Slack,
Yes.
David Knight,
Yes.
Dieter Schindler,
Yes.
Angela Anderson,
Yes.
Rick Stevens,
Yes.
and Angèle Dupré-Bouchard.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Albert.
Yeah, thanks.
6D is our next topic. It's resolution number 33, series of 2025, a resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, authorizing participation in the coordinated election to be held November 5th, 2025, and authorizing the town clerk to enter into intergovernmental agreements with Eagle County and Pickens County to conduct such election. Jeff, you've got this one.
Thanks. The council has indicated potential interest in putting a lodging tax increase question on the ballot for November. To ensure that we can participate in the election, there's a deadline for the council to adopt a resolution authorizing that the town participate in the election. There's still, and that's what this is, and there's still to come the question of, well, what is the actual ballot question we do want to put forward, if we do want to put one forward? So that would come beginning in, I guess with our next meeting, a draft of that potential ballot question. But some more potential action to come on that, but to ensure we can participate in the election, council would need to approve this resolution.
And this is not a one-way door.
Right. If you don't authorize the question, if you don't approve the ballot question, then we're not in the election. But to preserve our spot, there's a statutory requirement to adopt a resolution.
Are we looking at getting some info at the next meeting too?
Yeah, right now, we had discussions with Bill Ray, and we met last week, the team, and we had final sign off from you over I don't know, it was Friday, I think it was.
Yeah, sometime.
Late Thursday. And he's generating the collateral right now, and we're looking to hit the go button as far as having the message going out this week.
Cool.
Flyers and be something on our website, just public outreach, solicit comments. I think probably with next meeting, we'll probably have some sort of discussion about that. Follow with the second reading, public hearing. So we'll have a second reading.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more to come.
All right. Any other questions or comments on this one?
Mayor, I move that the town council adopt resolution number 33, series of 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pam, will you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Let's begin with Angela Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Rick Stevens.
Yes.
Angel Dupré-Bouchard.
Yes.
Ryan Slack.
Yes.
David Knight.
Yes.
And Dieter Schindler.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
We've got an exec session motion, if someone would like to read it.
Mayor, I move the town council enter executive session for a conference with our attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions in accordance to CRS 24-6-402-4B, more specifically to discuss 2024 CB 30119 GBM versus Town of Basalt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pam, will you please call the roll?
Sure, absolutely. Let's begin with Rick Stevens.
Yes.
Angel Dupré-Bouchard.
Yes.
Ryan Slack.
Yes.
David Knight.
Yes.
Dieter Schindler.
Yes.
Angela Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay.
So we're going to go into exec session in a few minutes, executive session, and so we are going to turn off the feed when we are done with that. We are going to be adjourned for the evening, and so we can start shutting down the TV and all that stuff.
Angela, you should be able to just
The
stay
meeting
on
will
the
be
meeting.
adjourned at the conclusion of the executive session, and that'll be that.
Okay. I'll get you the recorder.
Cool.
And I'll be right back. When we can